All right. Hello and welcome to What Was That? My name is John Williams. I launched What Was That on September the 1st, 2020. It's a radio station, arts academy, foundation, podcast and community. When it comes to the music, the radio station is built around modern rock and modern alternative. The podcast, so far I've been fortunate enough to speak to the likes of Nothing But Thieves, Black Pumas, and in today's case, Calva Louise. Yeah, Calva Louise, yo. That was really fucking pitchy. To be honest with you, if you go to whatwasthatradio.com/about, that's where you'll learn everything when it comes to this one human and seriously awesome community that supports him, radio station, a situation. Okay? Right. I've been so excited to chat with Calva Louise. And as expected, I'm absolutely buzzing after such a wonderful conversation. Thank you for being here. And thank you for any time you've given listening to and watching a conversation with Calva Louise. For me, one of the most exciting modern alternative bands on this planet in this moment.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, fabulous. Well, I mean, the first thing I wanted to dive into is that I adore everything that you three create. And it's such a thrill to get the time and the chance to speak with you, especially off the back of what has been, according to Instagram and social media, a rampant tour with Trashbot and friends. The first thing I think this is the best way we can start this conversation, is trying to figure out what was going on with that car. That you had a group of fans picking up a car and carrying it down the street somewhere. Was that your tour?
Yeah. So that was where was it? In Nottingham?
Nottingham, yeah.
Nottingham.
After the show, yeah, we were backstage and like we finished loading up and everything, and we were with Trashbot, and then I think their tour manager came in and we were like, we can't get the van out because someone's blocked us. And then this guy, random cars parked in front of their van. So they were basically blocked. And we started joking that, oh yeah, we're all going to get there and lift the car that's blocking it. And yeah, something happens.
And then we did.
No, it was so good. I must have watched it 4 or 5 times. I screen saved it and creepily. Yeah, no, I'm just wondering why. Sorry, pardon me. I'm watching my output volume just gradually tickle its way down. So I think what we'll do is, for those of you that are listening via whatwasthatradio.com right now, jump into Discord and feel free to jump into the waiting room here in Zoom. We're going to allow Jody into the waiting room too. And we'll get going with that. So I think we'll cancel the live broadcast on the air because my computer's being a silly thing today. So apologies for that. I know what we can figure out moving next. Well, just for the next one. All right, let's just get that out of the way. It's typical, like this whole getting ready for you guys today, and my camera just started doing things, and then you don't know why it's doing it, and then you just turn it off, turn it on, and it's fine again. You're like, fuck it, okay, whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, okay, fabulous. All right, and we'll just make sure that anyone that's coming in is going to be fabulous. All right, okay. All right. Now we can dive into it. So my name is John. I'm originally from Malmesbury in the south of England in Wiltshire, but I moved to Canada 12 years ago. And the long story short behind that is that my mum's side of the family from here on Vancouver Island, and my grandfather fell in love with my grandmother, who was from Shawnigan Lake here. And she sadly passed away, and we had a bit of a get together in Toronto. And that led to me discovering all these new cousins that I didn't know existed.
Wow.
And then that summer, because I've been trying to get into broadcasting since I was 11 years old, which is a long 20 years ago. And I had exhausted every avenue there was, BBC, through Heart, through all of them in the UK. And I had a great chance to do some work experience and stuff like that here and there. But I never got anything concrete. And I thought, well, I've never really been anywhere. So I'd love to go and backpack across Canada and discover all these new cousins and family and hand out demos along the way. So that is why I'm here. I ended up getting a job at a major commercial rock station on the island for the last 10 years. Then when the pandemic hit, I didn't get laid off or anything. I yearn for a challenge. And I think Jess will get into that tenfold when we talk about your creations with the graphic novels. But I yearn to push myself as much as possible, to grow as much as possible, and to almost surround myself with too much work. And I felt that I wasn't getting the chance to grow across those 10 years. And so I thought, fuck it. The world is in a strange place right now. Now is the time when you take a dive. I'm not afraid of failing. And my partner, Jody, is upstairs, and she's part of the She's listening along upstairs right now. That's the creepy Jodie's iPhone that you see.
Hi, Jodie.
She's been my rock and has helped me build what was that from the dust from the last 13 months old. So the things that I love to do is just get passionate about music and dissect creators and artists. And so let's do that with you.
Amazing.
All right.
Oh, tea.
Yeah, I made some tea. I'm gonna pour myself. I've got it.
Yeah, do it.
I hope it's good.
So the first thing then really is, and forgive me if I'm asking anything that's been asked before, but I approach everything with complete transparency and honesty. And while there are bigger bands I've had the chance to speak with throughout my career that I will dive in and research everything I possibly can, I love when I discovered you guys a few years ago, but other than just listening to the songs and reading the graphic novels and keeping an eye on the interesting Instagram situation, I've not done too much research because I knew that we'd get a chance to speak, certainly from Jess, how you responded to the Instagrams months ago. And so I'm fascinated by how, after reading Henry Cox's little article on Kerrang, he's like Venezuela, all around the world, what's going on? How are you three together? How did Calva Louise come to be in the first place?
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's quite a bizarre story, but yeah, so I moved from Venezuela to France when I was 16 years old. My goal was always to come to England to pursue music, but France was a bit, achievable at the time, and I enrolled into kind of a very artistic school for cinema. And that's where I met Alizon, who we were like on the same school. That to me was an amazing place. It looks like Howard, because it's a very medieval town. And yeah, so Alizon and I met, and we became very good friends. Started playing together, and after we finished school, I was like, whoa, the goal is to go to England, so like to London specifically. So you coming with me? You want to? And yeah, you were like, yeah.
Too much.
And then we did. I mean, we didn't know anybody. We I could speak English, but you couldn't speak English. And so it was. We were staying in the very, like motels. Like my mom would find every day which motel was under £10 for two people.
Oh my
But so it was a bit grim, but because we're like a 2-year-old experience, woohoo, like, and we started going to every pub we could get, just by driving in a Twingo, this was car.
Yeah.
Just by driving, like we see any pub, we give a demo a CD. We don't know how it works, we did very weird stuff, like sending CDs here and there, and then we did a lot of like open mic nights. It's just trying to understand how the gig circuit works. Well, specifically in London, but everywhere that goes like from where we're coming. Where was that?
The ferry.
The ferry came
New
from.
Haven, so
yeah,
near Brighton. Right?
Yeah, near Brighton, New Haven too. Every town there, we will stop and be like, oh, let's see what's happening music wise. And then we started getting some gigs here and there, but very, very interesting. Like we'll be in a very weird place, and there was 5 people, and one person would be like, oh, I'll get you another gig. And that's how I started. And then we got a gig, and Ben was playing with his band at the time, his friends, and we met and we were like, hey, we get along very well, do you want to do some demos with us? Actually, we're going to Germany in like a month, so do you want to come with us? And that's
that's how it worked. Like, actually, I've never asked you guys this, but how many gigs did you do before the gig with me?
But I don't know.
Like,
we did a lot of
but
we didn't do official gigs. It was kind of very,
like open
they
mics
were not,
and stuff.
They were not real gigs.
They were like
we were playing 3 songs now and then.
Yeah, and they were very gigs. Like it was very random, in a school. They were like,
how'd you get a gig in a school?
I don't know. And it's literally, we're like, this is how English people do it.
Oh so, my God! No, you didn't end up at a private school entertaining the masses.
No. It was kind of like an Italian music school, something, in South London. It was very it was always very weird because it was venues that you don't know which, like what the venues that people go, whatever. There are so many venues, and everywhere where we got an opportunity, someone was nice, very nice to us, and someone that will give us an opportunity, we will take it. We're like, yeah, we'll take it, whatever it is. Like, we'll sleep in whatever, we can do it. We'll go, and it's just kind of saying yes to whatever little inch of luck that you have, and then that's how we did for a long time.
There is so much to unpack here, and that's incredible. I have lots of questions. So firstly, what is the tea that you're drinking? Because when you brought that out, it looked like it was fresh out of the goblet, the heat and the fire up of that.
Yeah, it's like a magic potion, really. I just made it up. So we've got this thing, right? Like on tour, obviously you got to take care of your throat and your voice and everything. And I've just come up with this. So I bought this thermos for tour like 2 weeks ago to always have something backstage. And then it's like piece of ginger, lemon juice, curcuma, cinnamon, and a bit of cayenne pepper as well, with a bag of lemon and ginger tea. And you let that just sort of like infuse together for a while, and then you're left with a.
I don't know where he comes with these ideas, like cayenne pepper.
Yeah, no, seriously, where did that come from? I mean, I've done a lot of honey tea over the last 20 years, but I've never put pepper in it.
It's just have a nice little
to get
kick
a
to it.
spice.
Well, how is
Yeah.
it?
It's really good.
It's nice,
I highly recommend.
It's nice,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like going to be a recipe, to pass to your grandchildren.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, we'll see. What's the history of Calva Louise, the tea creators? But so when you, there's so much to unpack. This is a great start because it's given me about 25 questions we could go down different avenues here. But let's just check. What's Josiah saying here? The band is very quiet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta get.
I don't know if
closer.
I can get the volume up on this.
Audio.
Oh, he's saying that's old. That's old. In the Zoom, it's all good. Okay, perfect.
That's all good. Okay.
Cool.
Good.
Brilliant.
That's good.
Nice.
Yeah. I'll only ever interrupt our flow just to check in with those wonderful souls and wazzers that are part of the community, because we're all in this together. So, all right. So I was in England, I want to say about 2 years ago for the first time in a long time. And I caught up with some best friends and we went walking around London, and one by one friends they weren't able to get out away from their wives or from work, etc. And so ended up just being Austin and Alex and I. And my point to this story is that we walked around until like 4 a.m. and then went, there's nowhere we can stay. We need a hotel. Where in London did you find something that was £10 or under? That can't be, accurate.
Yeah, got a lot of good stories. I mean, that was quite a few years ago, so I don't know, the inflation, whatever, might have.
Yeah.
And £10 might be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But still.
No, but there were places where there were rats.
You don't want to go there.
And it was. No, and I remember there was a mouse. No, not a rat. It was small. There was a mouse in the bed, like on the bed, and it was like very kind of, I would say more like hostels, more like hostels, like more than hotels.
Okay, I've got this image, right, of one of them where we used to stay a lot. I won't say the name, but it's quite near Central, actually. And then
is it in
when
Paddington?
we came, in Paddington, and so we came into the hallway, and there was this old lady with massive fingernails, just counting cash, just like,
with the white cat.
With the white cat, next to just waiting on people to come in, just like counting cash. It was so dodgy.
And the walls were bright green.
Yeah, because it's all like gloss paint, and it's like bright gloss paint. It's so strange.
Did you say anything? Did you try and initiate a conversation, or did you just keep walking?
Well, I had to, because she was kind of like
the matron. No, yeah.
The only member of staff.
I do remember. I remember. We went. It was always. It's because it's the thing is that it's not like hotels that that's the price. It's literally one day of promo, like how you said, like there's just it's less.
Yeah,
for
so
one
just
day,
discounts and
discount,
stuff.
yeah, for one day, and it kind of rotates weirdly from hostels to hostels. Like every
Right.
day, there's like a different hostel that's got like half price for a room.
Yeah,
Or
we went from discount to discount around London just to stay, and like every night going into different place.
trying, yeah, and it's trying
Yeah.
to find like how, you know, how the culture works, how people work, how the music work, but also how like the living situation works, because we wanted to move there. But when you have zero contacts and zero people that, you know, can help you, you know, give you a hand with anything, it's very, you know, you're just, how do you learn that? But by staying there and, you know, like trying to live there and meet people. And I remember we stayed in an Airbnb, and it was very not nice, but the lady, she was like, oh, you're looking for a room, okay, I got a room with a bunk bed. And we stayed there for like 6 months, but she kind of tricked us a little bit because it was too expensive, and she made us clean the toilets, and she told us this is the English way. And we're like, and we're like, that's how you know, and it wasn't very nice.
The confidence of the individual, whether it can lead to others following them or not. Yeah, but that leads into what did you discover about yourselves then? If you're spending all these months and you're having to change location every single day, that is not an easy thing on one's mind. What did you learn about yourselves as individuals going through that process?
That we really wanted to do this because it was so hard that we're like, dude, it better have something.
But funny enough, now it seems harder than it was at the time. Like thinking about it, if I was told you have to do that now for like 3 months, 6 months, I'd be like, oh my God. But
No
going
way.
through it day after day is just like you just take things as they come. And so I don't know, I feel like, you know, it's like unexpected resources where you just have the power to go through all that stuff.
And it's like an experience, because now we know how, you know, like what we had to go through just to adapt, I feel, to, you know, a different country, and just, you know, for the love of music. And also on how not to get sucked into, a lot of people that I know that done the same, they get stuck and they need to find work, but the work consumes them so much that they can't they don't do music anymore. So literally they come to, you know, to London to live their dreams, and they just end up staying in London, living like life that they didn't want to, because it's a, you know. And so what happened, I remember when Ben joined the band and we were staying in that, it was in Catford, and Alizon was working like, I don't know how long you were working, super
6 days a week or something.
Yeah, I mean, I barely had a day off, and I was working.
Yeah, and it was all working
constantly.
So my role was trying to find, you know, like ways, opportunities where we can play, you know. And we met Ben, and it felt like things were going better. And then Alizon, his car is breaking into, and we had pedal boards there, pedal board, bass amp. And you know, because it's just too tight, and you leave it in the Twingo. And Alizon's work tools, because he worked at building furniture for IKEA. And the robbers only took the tools. They opened the pedal boards, and they left the pedals. They left all the music gear, left it. They just took the tools. And we saw that as a sign of, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go. We went to Berlin. It's time to go. Find, you know, live the adventure there. It's not here, because we're getting into this kind of cycle where Alizon could barely even, you know, sleep.
Yeah, it got to a point where like I couldn't even practice. I couldn't do anything else. So yeah, no more tools, no more job. Let's go.
And that's when and also we told Ben. That's when we told you, Ben, like this is the sign. Like we can't stay, you know, living in this routine for much longer, because this is not where it's gonna happen. Like our path as friends and in music is not gonna stay here. And I thought Ben was gonna be like, oh no, it's too, you know, too much of a hassle. But you were like, yeah, fuck it, let's go. Let's go to Berlin. And we felt there, yeah.
And then we went to Berlin.
Yeah.
But Ben, how did that, I mean, Ben, let's backtrack here. And I'm just logging another 25 questions. We're going to run out of time today, but that's fine. Ben, what did you take when you first met these two then, and you sat down and actually had a conversation? You must be picking up what I'm picking up on the last 15 minutes, the excitement, the passion, the will to succeed, the depths they go to. What was running through your mind when you met those two? And the instant decision to go to Berlin in Germany then, what were you thinking? What was your plan?
Well, I guess like the first time I met you guys, and like the first time I actually had a conversation with these guys was at the gig that our bands shared the bill on, and it was before we played. So Jess, I think I spoke to you first, and because you couldn't speak English.
Yeah, I was going to say you would have spoken to me. I couldn't speak.
And Jess, you were showing me the comic book. I think I remember that. Yeah, so that was like the first thing that you showed me, and then I remember standing there watching you guys play with my bandmate of my old band, and we were just like absolutely blown away by the performance. We were like we haven't seen anything like this ever. Like, you know, there's very few bands that like actually make that kind of impact. And like I just remember we were standing sort of like middle back, and we're just like looking at each other, we're like, oh my god. And then so like it's just like super impressed sort of from the get-go really with the whole comic book and everything. And then like when I got the call like a week or two later or a month later or whenever it was for the demos, because like their old drummer couldn't make a recording for whatever reason, so they were like, oh, can you stand in, do the like lay down some drums for these demos? I was like, yeah, calm, that sounds great, like let's go. So I did that, and I think like just as I got to know them as well, like throughout the demo sessions, like it's just the work ethic was really impressive, and I think that's what drew me in further. Do you know what I mean?
No.
And then you start learning English, and then we actually finally started talking. and then we went to Berlin. I was like,
and they shared in Berlin, like they shared a bed.
That brought us closer very instantly, because we obviously
for a month
we didn't have like that much money, and for like so we had to rent like a double bed for a month, and then we shared the double bed.
It was nice.
And I was in the living room, or you had I got my little room.
So Jess and Alizon, when Ben first saw you play, what was your setup? Was it a 3-piece? Did Ben see you with another drummer, or were you playing as a 2-piece? And what was the setup?
So the first time you saw us, it would have been with another drummer.
It would have been with a friend. So when we started playing, when I met Alizon in France, we started playing. Alizon's dad had a very good friend, was amazing drummer. But at the time he was married as well, like, and we were kids. And so when we decided to come to England, he just had a daughter and everything. And he was like, I'll do my best to come every time, to come to do these shows with you guys, because he loved it and he was great, he's still great and everything. And so that was like the first time like we made like a band like together with our former drummer. But life and things like going the way.
He had to stay in France.
Of course, he has to take care of a family. Can't go in hostel from hostel with us. Like you can't do that. You do that when we're 20.
Not when you have a child.
No, when you have a child, and you're like past that. Although he did it a lot for us, loved Ben as well, and because we loved Ben. When we saw Ben, we were like, "Wow, such a good drummer, such a good band as well," and feeling was mutual.
So how then? So you're moving around all these places, you're shifting all the gear. I also, to go way back to when the tools were stolen, that speaks to me tenfold. Like I used to think as a kid, when people would say, oh, the universe and signs you get and this and that, I used to think, oh, it's all bullshit, it doesn't matter. But as I've grown up and grounded and become more grounded with life experience, I'm like, no, that's a sign that I'm not fucking doing this. And like, so when the pandemic hit and I was like, no, I'm not going to go anywhere. I don't want to be miserable and 50 years old in 20 years. I don't care if I'm homeless in 20 years because I want to build what I know can succeed. That with Calva Louise, but how were you producing the graphic novels? How were you creating these records? How were you doing that, going couch to couch and £10 situation to £10 situation?
Well, that's not very good. I feel like, I don't know. That's the thing, is that I feel we were always trying to be the most optimistic. So I think when you are seeing always the bright side of things, you can always see a little inch of opportunity that appears that will make it you know, that you can, you know, grab onto that and be like Tarzan, you know, like with the how do you call it, you know, like the vines one to one, right? And I feel like I had started, like the comic book I started it like ages ago. I started like drawing like pages and knowing the story before Calva Louise, like the rhinoceros thing, you know, that's very abstract.
Yes.
Which is kind of more like I know it's so difficult to understand. It's because I started it kind of like patching it for so long time ago before Calva Louise even started. And so, you know, that's why Euphoric now it's the same thing, but better, trying to get it more concrete each time. And that I felt like I got to do this. And so I have my HP laptop, you know, and I asked my parents to buy me a tablet, and so we'll always be with my laptop and my tablet, and you know,
the thing that you have to like tape around the cable, otherwise
but you know, like
this sort of thing.
But I feel like that was the thing, like it wasn't work. It felt like I got to do, I don't know why, but I got to do this. And every time we had an opportunity to record, to, you know, press a vinyl, do whatever, like do something, we'll be like, you know, fuck yeah, let's do it. Like we can't, you know.
I feel like we had a lot, like, you know, you'll get a lot of opportunities, and I feel like a lot of people just like discard them most of the time because it's not very important. They're not, you know what I mean? But we had a lot of people being like, oh, would you like, I would record, like students being like, oh, I'll record you for free for uni or stuff like that. And we always used to be like, yeah, let's do it. And so we end up doing all these recordings, and, you know, it wasn't always great, but I feel like that's how we built, like, and knowing also how to do things, because you need that experience. Because when you get to actually important things, or, you know, bigger things, if you don't have this experience, then you just don't know how to do it.
Or you take it for granted as well.
If it just happens like that. But I mean, that was before Calva Louise, but, you know, I think that's what we did. Like you said, just getting all this recording stuff. I think that was just taking all the little opportunities, playing little shows, doing any kind of little recordings, stuff like that.
Excuse my chuckle. Did you hear what sounded like a spaceship landing a few seconds ago, or was that just me?
Was it maybe a car?
It might have been the car outside.
Is that how cars sound in England now?
Oh, the train, yeah. We've got the train coming out of this window.
Oh, right.
Every hour. So
is it in Spider-Man or in Harry Potter, and in both that these, like, you know, the train goes.
Yeah, that sounded like literally like in my ear.
I don't even hear it anymore.
Yeah, you just get used to it if you live right next to it.
I see. I'm so in the middle of the woods now that I don't recall that part of London, like that part of England, like just the hustle bustle. But no, pardon me, I didn't, because that was such a wonderfully shared piece there, Alizon. I didn't mean to seem rude in chuckling. What the fuck is that? Like, did you come to get me? Like, I don't understand.
I love it. No, you do.
So, Jess, where did the fascination in curating art begin then? You know, I usually always start my conversations with what an earliest memory is in terms of what has inspired that person to go on to be artist, singer, guitar player, etc. But when did you discover that you had a real passion and burning desire to create in this sense?
Yeah. Okay. Go. I don't have like memories, but I do have the memories my mom told me about when, like, the first time she tried to make me sing. I was like, nah. She's like, okay, well, she's not gonna be a singer. Like, I feel like I do have a memory when I was about like 6 years old, and I took all makeup that I could find, and I did something with like lipsticks and makeup, and my mom was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, something very abstract, but I don't know, I still have the idea, the image in my mind. It kind of looks like a chihuahua, I don't know. Like a Picasso chihuahua, you know, with triangles and stuff.
Is there any chihuahuas in this?
I'll ask my mom for a picture and send it to you, because I do have it very clear in my mind. And I remember that I don't know, I never felt like, oh, I gotta specialize on this, or I gotta do this. And you know, because I feel like my motivations, like my passions in life have shifted, but all the time. Like when we met, I was obsessed with guitar. Like, I need to learn guitar like properly, and then I need to learn how to do the comic book properly, and everything always. And now we need to film, learn how to film properly, like do it. But the goal is always to express like a kind of message that you don't, you feel like you gotta do it. Like there's a reason why you're learning this stuff, and there's a reason why you're not doing, feels like you're not learning the craft just to, be the best at it. Not to specialize on it, but to use those tools to be able to little by little like put together a story and a message and a like not a message like morality or anything, but kind of more like a story that it kind of evolves every time, but it's the same story that every time gets better by you acquiring more techniques, like more different skills, and more we've learned doing things that, for example, when I was in the comic book, Alizon's like looking for a job as well. And I remember saying to him, wow, the sound here is really bad. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, maybe you could be one of those bad sound engineers, like if they can do it, you can do it.
Well, you didn't say maybe you could be bad.
But thinking.
No, you said, I bet you could do better.
I bet you, exactly. Yeah,
even without any training on it.
I bet you could do better, yeah. And Alison the next day did cards.
And the next day I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll be sound engineer.
Yeah, but it helped so much for him to know how to be sound engineer, and for Ben to be a graphic designer.
I did get proper training.
No, you get proper training. No, you're great. And the fact that you're so great is it made that the band, and by consequence, like us performing or recording the songs and things like that, it's by extension it makes it easier to get a little bit closer to concretize the story that we want to tell, that it's kind of abstract in our minds, and it's trying to put together like what's in the comic book, what's in the animation that I did for the film, for the album, and it's kind of all those skills have a special purpose that is not just I enjoy doing this. Yeah, you do enjoy this, but you enjoy this kind of as a vessel to get like kind of the purpose of your existence. I don't know.
It's growth, Jess. It's growth. I mean, just to tack in, when Alizon was saying earlier, we had all these chances around us. You say yes to recording with the students, say yes to doing this and that. For me, and I'll only ever speak for myself I don't like blanket statements, but for me, something that with building what was that I initially was very unsure of was allowing that help to come in. I'd felt that after 10, 15 years in commercial radio and broadcasting that I'd had people that say one thing and another thing transpires, and you don't really ever feel that you're improving. I felt like I was just coasting. And so the big thing I said to the wonderful souls that came in and said, look, can I help with some coding for the website? Oh, I've noticed this about the app. Oh, I've noticed this about, etc. And I would at first say, I love that. Thank you. But I don't want any help. I want to stumble into the discovery. I want to stumble into the growth that I've been yearning for all this time. And that clicks into what you just said, Jess. At the end, they're trying to find the summarization of your point, which is, why do we do it? Well, we do it because we want to grow and get better. And that is why I adore Calva Louise so much, because I've seen across EP to EP in the record, you see the growth going through. You see the three individuals and the changing and tweaking of the band moving forward. And that's what's so exciting and galvanizing, is because for me and for many music fans, we have bullshit meters, right? Our soul listens to an album or a song, or we watch an interview and we go, yes, I get that. I click to that. I understand where they're coming from. Or we go, this seems phony, this seems forced. And those people still do very fucking well. That's called pop music. But at the same time, sorry, but at the same time, sorry, Katy Perry, Jesus, sorry, Selena. But, and sorry, Ollie, I don't want to start going through Ed Sheeran, sorry, Ed, even though we had a great chat like years ago, right at the start of my adventure. And anyway, that's a side point, but I smell bullshit and I don't like it. And that's why I'm so galvanized by Calva Louise, because the journey is there. You see it in every step of what you do. I mean, this package of all the things that you guys sent that winners are going to get in the next week or so, you see every step of the evolution of this band. And that is what is so exciting. So I wrote down earlier, help equals growth. That's what it is. Whether you're helping yourself, whether you're allowing community in to help you, when you find those connections, and that's why I've been so excited from a selfish standpoint to meet you three, because I know I can feel it from how I've listened and watched you grow on Instagram and on the record. It's not a creepy thing, but I know that we would hit it off because anyway, so if we're going to dive into the tour, I mean, because I started with that and I want to come back to that and revisit it, because what did it feel like after, okay, you've done that stint the last few years of going all around and being in rooms, but then there was the stoppage. Then there's nothing can get going. Yes, you dive in, you do other creations, but what was it like to be back on the road? What was it like to be with those bands around you in the sense of Strange Bones, who I know you know very well, we'll get to that, Death Blooms and Trashbot? What was the tour like? How did it feel? Where do you start to describe all those emotions?
There's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of different emotion. I guess a tour is like it's like a whole experience. Like I feel like a tour, you go through so many different things throughout the tour. So it's hard to pinpoint a specific feeling about it. But it's always growth and experience, because every tour is different. No matter where you play and who you play with, it's always different. And I mean, no, it's a personal thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like this tour, because of the big stop and that, we came back with new songs, new gear, new ways to play. We've experimented with new things on stage.
It's all completely new set.
New set, new equipment, so it was very good because it felt refreshing in a way. And
but it was difficult because of those reasons at the same time.
It was also
because it's all very, very new, so you don't know, like what's the, it's a fresh audience as well, because we're first support, and it's kind of, and we were a bit more like different, like stylistically as well, because I feel like some people didn't understand the I don't know, the Spanish or or maybe and so people were like a bit like but all the people, that was great, were like, oh yeah, this is really cool, and of course the bands, it's very nice, everybody's so nice, and it's just like living kind of on the road because of the big stop. It was kind of I forgot you forgot, like, how tired you're gonna be and how you're gonna kind of take care of your body, but you don't realize that, because you're being kind of like, taking care of your body for the past like time.
It's definitely a different lifestyle being on the road to being at home, because like you said, Jess, like you're always on the move. There's always somewhere to go, and then when you get home, you go to sleep straight away, and then you wake up, got to load all the equipment, and it's just this like,
it's a physical thing,
different rhythm, and you reach this point where you're like, sort of like, I call it like being tour tired, and it's just like you're in this middle zone where you're like, you're tired, but you're like, you can, you're awake, but you're still tired.
And at the same time, when you go on stage, you get all this adrenaline that kicks in, because you gotta perform, you gotta do a good show, you gotta do something really nice, I mean, it's a job, like you gotta do what you say it's a I don't know, like it's not like a contract signing, but like
there is.
There is
there is an actual contract.
Yeah, there is actually.
So we know that Alizon's the person that goes afterwards and says, "Where's the fucking money?" Okay, where's that cut?
No, but like, you have to. You're contracted to create a performance, and you have to do that, basically.
I feel like a lot of things.
It's more than that, but
a lot of things that I realized during this tour was that before, we were 4 bands with 3 different drum kits, because Death Blooms we were sharing drum kits. Strange Bones, Alizon built the that hybrid drum kit for Strange Bones. Like so Alizon built that beast, but it's like a tone, like it's really really heavy, and so another mic thing to do, and because all the bands got their own different drum kits, very specific things to take care of, we tried to prepare the best that we could. We shared team with Strange Bones, but I realized, because of the big gap, a lot of venues prioritize now more club nights than the actual gigs, and so they give us 2 hours 4 bands with 3 different drum kits with like 4 different completely setups to do sound check, and it's impossible. Like it's kind of, you can't do that. So you got that stress put on you as well, but you're like, it's not doable. You can't, you understand that, if we don't sound check, then Death Blooms can't sound check because, we need to mic the drum kit for and all the bands were like, yeah, it's true. And I realized maybe it's the club nights that took more of kind of a bigger step. And that was a little bit frustrating. But apart from, from those kind of challenges that we didn't think we were gonna stumble upon, it was very kind of, it gives you the, yeah, we made it. Like after everybody, the sound check, everybody like goes high five, we made it.
Yeah, there was this lot of challenges, new challenges in this tour that, funny enough, I don't think we would have been able to pull off last year.
No,
because
impossible.
Because of all that gap and all the new stuff, we're like, okay, we need to be like as efficient as can be, because we've got the opportunity to play Reading and Leeds earlier this year, and there was like 15 minutes changeover, so that's including just everything, sound check, line check, everything. We had to be on stage and ready in 15 minutes after the others. So we're like, okay, we worked really hard to be as efficient as possible on stage with our team and everything. And this tour definitely put us to test for that, because like the constraint on sound check and just organization were like really tight, but it worked.
It did, yeah.
It worked, and playing, and just we were saying like it's a job, but man, we love it, so you gotta be super happy that at least at the end of the day, the job, the good parts shine more than the difficult parts, and it makes it all worth it. And just meeting like super nice musicians and artists, and like hanging around like kind of that like community, like other kind of musical community that we didn't know well before. It kind of feels like well, we've gained a lot in experience, and now we know way more than we did before the tour. So, and
next to that, during the tour there are lots of like things that gives you like energy, and that's amazing experience. Like whenever we meet with all the bands backstage and we chat, and before the show we get to a new venue, it's like exciting. You get to a new place,
and the people that have never heard about you, but they're like, hey, I really enjoy that.
After the show, exactly. And it's
and the talking with the audience as well. I think some audience doesn't like it, but
that's funny actually. You see how different the audiences are. Even in the UK,
from city to
city, it's really different. Like
it is.
It is so funny. I remember where it was.
Like I said, Spanish bit.
I said, okay, anybody speak Spanish here? And can you? It almost was like.
Okay, wait. Silence across the room.
In the set, at some point, you often introduce the Spanish song with like, like Spanish lessons, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who speaks Spanish? And then there's always reaction to that.
Always. Yeah, there's always one person be like, I speak a little bit.
At least one person be like, woo, or like, so much. And then the Southampton.
But it was really nice as well.
They were great. They were gorgeous, but it's just.
So but the audience was a bit kind of like, when I said that, they were a bit like.
It was like dead silent.
We do German here, but people were super. At the end of it, people were actually very like, yeah, cool, like They were like laughing and being very, kind of embracing the the kind of something different, speaking Spanish and kind of a bit of a different cultural thing, and so it's kind of nice. It's very heartwarming seeing that. So I really that's I think my favorite thing on tour, doing this tour, like playing to a completely audience that has zero knowledge about you, but you kind of warm the heart of some of them.
You see it when you come on stage, and then everyone's just like, oh, what's going on?
But there was a moment in Manchester, and it was before. It was really funny. It was between bands, I don't know, but the guy that put the music, the music between bands, he put something like epic, like
Not Enya. He was putting the Gladiator soundtrack.
The Gladiator soundtrack.
So on stage, it was like,
and I remember, and it was so after Death Blooms that are very heavy, finished. There's this like, oh, and I remember there was like a girl, like some guys and girls, friends at the front, and I was looking at each other, and I looked at them and was like, this is super epic. This is and I remember the girl started talking to me. She's like, yeah, it's like when you do like wine testing, it's like cleansing the palate.
Exactly.
and they were so nice. And so just by doing that first communication just before we played, and the rest of the set, I was looking at them and looking at them in the eye and looking at them, and that makes people that have no clue who you are but still feel connected and dance to it. And of course there's people that don't like that, but those people did, and that was enough to make you feel like, yes, next show.
Well, I mean, it shows in the pictures that you shared on social media across the last 2 weeks. You see the passion bursting out of your eyeballs, for goodness sake. But again, what you've just shared the last several minutes raises a lot of emotions and feelings in myself. I mean, I used to be in a band. I also drum. We were a 3-piece. We were led by an incredible vocalist, Ali, and we had been putting in a lot of work for 2-3 years, and we're starting to really build up here on the West Coast a little bit. But then sadly, Jordan, one of my best friends, a guitar player, had a bit of an unfortunate few months, and he's doing great now. He's mentally, he's grown an awful lot, but it meant that it did put an end, for the sake of the person over the band, to the band. But one thing that always, the way I go about, I remember when I was first teaching myself how to play drums 17 years ago, whatever, when I was 15. And people at the school I went to used to call me Agent Orange because of like Clockwork Orange. Apparently I have this look in my eye that is very, very scary when I play. And that's the number one thing I love about it is connecting with the audience. And because we were like, we go. I mean, that's why we're just a stand and deliver rock band. And I would always love going into a room and just staring into people's eyes and just be like, you're coming with me, motherfucker. Like, you're right now. Yeah. And, but that was also to start with positive, but to sidestep into the negative, was that's what's so upsetting about the way the world is going right now. And you would think, I would hope, one would presume that after the pandemic, maybe this bullshit of we're going to get the DJ on at 10:30 would stop. But what that means is, going back to you talking about sound checking and this, that, and the other, is that's where it's great. Alizon has got some idea of production, because then really in that instance, when you've not got a sound check, rather, that's on your shoulders. So, what we tried to do with Jordan and the way he split his rig was very similar to sort of Mike Kerr, Royal Blood. Jordan was one guitar player that sounded like four different amps. Who knows how many pedal boards? I don't know how he did it, man, but he created this wall of sound. And we found in the first 3 or 4 shows when you're the opening band, and obviously it's not going to be as much care for you, they would just cover Ali's vocal in echo and reverb and just blend it in, and all you'd hear is me smashing in a riff. You wouldn't hear her incredible storytelling, and she's so fierce of a performer. You wouldn't hear it. So we learned, okay, how can we then create our own setup so that we're outputting to them our final mix? They can't fuck it. They can't screw with it. And so that's what we then started to do, was, okay, you literally just turn us up, turn us down. We're going to send everything to you. Now, as an opening band, that's a little bit cheeky, because then if you haven't got a sound check, you're just setting it up and you're turning it on and hoping that it's going to go. And certainly when we play bigger festivals and you've got 5 minutes, and that was so exhilarating, playing a festival here called Rock the Shores, the biggest stage we'd ever played. And yeah, there was 20,000 people on site. There was only 1,000, on site, only like 40 or 50 at the front for us at 1 in the afternoon. But just learning about then the process of going through, okay, the sound check, and you've got 25 minutes. If you fuck that up, you're done. And at that show with our last song, it would have 3 breakdowns at the end. So it was a bit elongated. It was a bit much, but we loved it. And we GoPro'd every single show. And I'll send it to you one day, where the stage tech was just over there thinking like, yes, we're done. And he'd go, and done. And it would stand up and say, thank you very much. Milking the moment. This is our biggest ever show to 35 people. This is awesome. Get down, boom, 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 boom. Stand up and he'd be like, okay. But it's all the little things that you learn about it. And I do hope moving forward, passionate share about myself selfishly aside, that we start to actually respect the music more than we say we do. You know, it's one thing saying we've got to look after the industry, and I know with the UK government we're not going to get political, but with the European situation and passports and this, that, and the other, it's time for clubs to be brave. I think, I know they've been really struggling, and I know they've got their DJ night, but just give the bands, you know, if they're open until 4 a.m. in the morning, just give the bands till midnight, have someone there 2-3 hours before.
I mean, I think it's not a big deal to play earlier. I think if that's all right. I feel it's give us more time to sound check.
Yeah, the structure.
Let's start it from the beginning, and also because we've had our sound engineer, who's also Strangeman's sound engineer and tour manager, so which we share with both bands. They were so great and so well prepared, and I think without them, like, it would have been like, nah, it can't happen. Because they were like they were like under the pressure, under the stress, and because with Alizon, you know, and with Bobby, you know, from Strange Ones, they organized like pre-productions and doing all the stuff. And I think like it was such a good teamwork. That's why I was saying like everybody's high-fiving, like, yeah, we made it. And again, you know, the only thing is like, well, if you're gonna, you know, if bands are gonna play a bit earlier, well, give them the time that, you know, start at 12, you know, 11 a.m., 12 a.m. to set up the stage, and, you know, and we do things. And like this, it's kind of the same thing shifted, you know, a tiny bit before. But and you avoid all the stress. Well, that's just me.
Yeah, and also, you know, there'll be bands that say, well, tough shit, that's part of what being a band is. But I think we're in a bit more of a conscious, fluid world right now, where we can at least converse about what might be improved and how to go about it.
Of course.
So what you've wrapped up the tour, and oh god,
we're down.
Cameron decided to do it one more time. There we go.
Well, that's neat. Look at that movement.
It's not meant to balance on the screen like this. The tripod has been, I think it's like twice a year it will fall and be like, really, dude, the fuck you doing? But I don't know. That seems okay. That seems okay. All right, camera being dramatic and flailing aside, is the tour's done now, and you know, I'm waiting on the signed Euphorics are coming, the vinyl with all the prize package and everything for what was at Wuzzers and listeners, to be continued is in the last page of this book. I mean, how do you look back at the journey so far, and if you can speak to what the next steps and plans are, but you've got to feel proud of what you've done here, right? You've got to, looking at the YouTube now and seeing there's not just 1,000 plays, there's 165,000 on this and 250,000 on that. How do you look back at the journey so far and go, all right, sweet. And then how are you going to utilize that to propel yourself moving forward? What is the next step of Calva Louise?
Yeah, well, I mean, the Euphoric album is kind of like it's still kind of like the centerpiece of the next steps, I guess, because you're mentioning that the comic book's got to be continued on it.
Yeah.
And it's being continued.
Yeah. Yeah, we think like we want to create like we got big plans of how to like keep evolving the story with Euphoric, with different things are will come out soon. Like they're not audio related. It's more like you branch out into all the stuff that all the stuff that we enjoy, like video games. We enjoy like storytelling and videography and all the stuff. That's what we want to develop now, because and at the same time I'll keep writing my demos, but we feel like now in this age, it feels kind of musical is consumed too quick, and it kind of, okay, you released, an album like 2 months ago, but that a lot of people, everybody's like, okay, well, so what's the next project?
That's really annoying.
But no, but it's not nice. It's understandable, but I always feel like, wow, that costs so much to do. and so we wanna try, I wouldn't say like take all the juice out of it, not like that, but make it grow as much as it can, to then pass to something else, because it feels that it's kind of, okay, it didn't do this, it didn't go number one, so okay, no, now write something that could go number one. But I feel that's kind of very milking the musician, kind of like, or the artist, and getting it to the point, because we, before the pandemic, during it as well, we would release song after song after song. And the thing is, it feels kind of, you gotta, you gotta like run and keep running, and it can't feel to go where. And like, if it's not to enjoy the journey, like what we running, like so down, like people feel like we be, you push, you rush when you should be patient, and you hurry when we should stop and think about things. And so what we want to do, the strategy that we're building for the next steps, are mainly trying to get all that we can from the story of Euphoric, from the story of the continuation of Rhinoceros, in all the not, it's trying to be the most ambitious that we can, and not be like, okay, well, that's gone, so like let's start something new, because there was so much stuff that we haven't told yet with that story, because it's still very, even the animation is so abstract. Like people are like, yeah, that's good, it's nice, it's very nice. Some people, I feel like, get it, like understand it, and they're like, I feel that I get what you mean, right? But we want to make it everything more kind of easy to consume, but to get it, it's like perfecting a recipe. And so we're trying to perfect with what we have. We did the music, and we did the film, with the videos and all that stuff. We want to kind of evolve with the second graphic novel, but making it trying to get into the steps that it won't take us years and years and years, and then to do the comic book, it took me years,
I was following on Instagram, for goodness sake.
It wanted to like kind of with the material that we have, with this the pieces that we have, build something as much as we can with it, like take advantage as much as we can with it, and then we'll see. And then we'll see the next step.
No, I mean,
Oh, sorry. After you, Alizon.
That's fine. I'm just gonna keep going on this, but if you want to.
Well, I was just going to say, interject quickly in saying that yesterday, when Jodie, who's still in the chat, my partner upstairs, even though I speak so loud, she can hear me as if she's in the same room. Jodie, she was getting a wisdom tooth out yesterday, and I was sat in the car for the hour, and everything went good, luckily. And and listening to the album, and that's what I love about this, is that you just go through, and that's what I miss. That's what we both love, is putting on a record start to finish. And it's certainly, I've got one of my best friends, Deliza, who creates incredible music. One of the first guys I lived with when I moved to Canada. He's been in LA for years now. He's doing really, really well. And he was saying to me a year ago, "What can you let me know what you think about these 8-9 songs? Because I've got to release one every 2 weeks. That's the plan that the management wants to hit all the Spotify and this, that, and the other algorithms." And that's what I said to him is, and it's not, I'm not publicly outing our conversation. It's what I said to him, what I've shared since in speaking on the air and with other artists, is that's what worries me about parts of the industry. And that's what you just spoke to so well, Jess. So I don't need to repeat what you just said so brilliantly, which is that it can be dangerous. And then you forget the very art you're creating and why you made it in the first place. Now, cognizant of time, I am intrigued as to lyrically, and you can share what you wish to share or not always, but lyrically, where do you write from? Did you write this and then think, oh, I'll make a graphic novel, or did you think I'd like to make a graphic novel and then you start a lyrical journey? How do you approach your writing songs?
Well, at first, as I would I had a story, a kind of a draft of a story in my mind, something, you know, I would dream about and things like that. And inspired by my friends in school, things like that, oh, that'd be great. I want to tell something. But again, you know, I want to do music. But again, I do want to draw some of the things because I love comic books. And it was kind of all of these passions, you know, what are you going to do? Focus on what? So I started imagining, and I was so obsessed with comic books, and I started like drawing the beginning and thinking, I don't know, I know where I'm going abstractly, but okay, I gotta start now because I felt like I had to start now. And then thinking about the song, thinking about the music, but that was like separately, and everything like fits together because it's got the same purpose. And so I started that just before Alizon and I like started like coming to London, trying to find, you know, where to stay, where to go. So like music wise and focusing on that. So it feels like I did a bit of that of started, you know, the idea I wanted to do a comic book. I started doing the first panels and I left it for a minute because the attention had to go to finding, you know, understanding, you know, how the music like industry kind of like works in London, you know, geek wise and stuff like that. And it's just, okay, we're focusing, we need to do the, you know, the music and do the songs. But then again, yeah, more people will meet, more people tell you, do this, do that, you gotta be this, you gotta do that, you gotta do this. And it's kind of like very confusing. So you don't know what to do. So I started writing songs, but I felt like, you know, it was very confusing. It was very, you know, you get a bit lost, it's foggy, you know, yeah, my mind was completely foggy. And then when we got offered a record deal to do, you know, Rhinoceros, got all this stuff, you know, I was already developing like the comic book, and the songs were reflecting this, it was the same thing that I wanted to say with the comic book, but music wise, I started to, you know, be like, oh, but this really fits together because it's just the same story. Oh yeah, that's the trick. And so when we got the record deal, the label are like, okay, but who are you that is different, you know? And I said, well, I got a comic book, and they were like, okay, we don't care, but okay. but it was, you know, we were, you know, I remember I showed to Bobby from Strangemans, and he was like, this is amazing. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna finish it and, you know, blend it all together because it started at the same time. The stories are, you know, because songs are so abstract.
Here he is.
Isn't that him in the end here? No.
Yeah, yeah. With less tattoos because
yeah, I got to the last. Yeah, because no, he is absolutely covered. And
so wait, he's just right to me. Is the interview started? Wait, let me tell you. It's now, and we're talking about you.
Yeah, it's a shame because he would have been able to tune in. He's welcome to jump into Zoom. I mean, we're in the last little bit here because I've got to let you go to bed soon. But I had to stop the broadcasting live because my computer's just got something in it today where it's just I don't know if there's a key stuck on my keyboard that keeps taking the audio down 555 at a time.
Oh.
I don't know why it's doing that. I think it must be. I've learned actually since doing everything on one computer that you can go into the back end settings just to stop your passionate spiel about music to talk about nerd shit. But you can go in and distinguish, okay, there are certain apps or programs that take precedence over others. And then it's going through and removing all of that. So they all just do the same. And I think what's happening is I've got Zoom fighting with Discord, fighting with Radio Code, fighting with Adobe Audition, fighting with, right, there's a lot open. And I'm recording it through Zoom. This will be the first meeting I record through Zoom and not through OBS. So I'm hoping that everything's okay with that. But I mean, ultimately I just need the audio. So
of course.
But no, yeah, no, and sorry, I think we sort of, I don't know if we interrupted your point, if you wanted to finish that, speaking about Bobby, I mean, segueing into what it is, maybe like how.
Yeah, like, so, oh yeah, because I think as Venezuelan, we do that a lot. We go, you know, we start something and we go somewhere else, and I say I got a point, but it's very, very long.
No, that's me too. So don't worry about it.
But yeah, like it's
I think Bobby is listening. Actually, there's people in England listening right now. He's not going to hear you.
the lyrics, I remember, Bobby telling me, oh, this is really, really cool. And I remember, of course, you guys, you've seen me like drawing. That's how we met Ben, because he's showing him the drawings. And I was like, like this all fits together because came together, and writing the songs, they all felt like very dreamlike, very rushed, because the label wanted to release the album like super, like, okay, recording in 10 days and do it now. And when it was all very, very rushed, but because it was already planned and kind of, that was what I wanted to do, kind of do, for us to, be a band, but at the same time express ourselves in different mediums. And it's so ambitious, and everybody's kind of, you won't do that because you got to specialize in something. We thought, okay, well, we'll do it our level. And so we did it, with the album Rhinoceros. We recorded in 10 days. It's not, I feel like, the best we could do, but it was at the level that it was, we could do it at the time. And it was the same with the comic book. Like, the last pages, I was like, you know what? I just need to fucking finish this, and let's just drawing and putting the writing in it and doing it, because if it wasn't to be released then it would have never been released. So it's not. So that's the thing. Like lyric wise, music wise, drawing wise, it's all kind of that same level of, we got something, and it's not there yet. But if we hadn't done that first step, we wouldn't been able to do the second step, which is Euphoric, and then we won't be able. We need to like go as far as we can with it to reach. Cause kind of like you can't jump 10 steps from the staircase, because you need those little experiences. You need those little things that actually make you like, when before the pandemic, we're like, we need to meet the people that will make us the best videos in the world. Like, we need to meet the people, do that. And then we realized we need to become those people. Mm-hmm. Like we can't like find like, oh, well, but it doesn't mean again that we don't get help, like, oh yeah, I love to meet people, to collaborate with in different circumstances and video wise and all that. But if you don't learn how to kind of, what you want to do, if you're like, fuck it, I'll learn it, I'll try to do my best, then you don't know, like the importance of those steps. So I don't know if it makes all sense together.
No, that makes complete sense. Yeah. It leads me to ask if at the time of filming Belly Kelso's video that you were living in a school scientist's house.
We didn't sleep for 48 hours during that video.
This video was insane.
Difficult,
yeah, I think it was the most difficult video. And for a friend who filmed it for free too, because that was, for him, it was super difficult because our label had completely given up on us.
The cheapest video,
and that was the cheapest video as well, and the idea that I had, he was like, yeah, of course, let's do it. But at the same time, he had a full-time job, and his friend, like they all these people that did marvelous. But that's the thing, you don't sleep for 48 hours and you feel like, so tired. And super happy with all how it came. But we felt like, okay, but now learning that experience, now we know how to better prepare. Now we know how, like learning. I remember that our friend, he was like, oh, I can't find people to color grade it. And that was, so I was, for last videos, I was like, okay, I kind of YouTube how to color grade. I mean, it won't be, as a professional, of course, but, you learn how it's so difficult. That's the thing, it's so difficult. But we got the willpower to,
Well, I mean, like the last two live video that we did it ourselves. Like, and we're just like, it came to a point where we're like, okay, I think we're ready to give it a go with all the experience that we accumulated throughout shooting this video with all those people. And the label was kind enough. Thanks, Brick Street.
Yeah, our label now is so nice.
Because if you got an artist, they're just like, oh, we're gonna direct our own video. Instead of you paying someone else, just give us money to buy some equipment and we'll do it.
Yeah, I felt like people would be like, really? But because we had kind of been through all these little experiences, our label, like, Free Street 300, they're like, you know what? Okay, here, have the money and then give us the result, and was, but it's a trust thing. But because we know what we're we not know what we're doing, but we know a bit of what we're doing. So because we know that little bit, we know that it's going to be more difficult than we think it's going to be. So we prepare better. And so we do a better budget. We kind of like try to, you know, get everything on point.
And also, I mean, it's a bit difficult, but there's only so much you can ask from someone that you're paying to do something.
Of course, the heart needs to be in it.
When we're doing it, like we know like the odds. We just got up at like 2 a.m. We didn't sleep. We're like at 3 a.m. we're on the beach, like shooting stuff, and all throughout the morning. Ben found the horse. The horse. It's not an actress. It's not, and she didn't even want to get paid, not even for the horse. Like it's her horse. Like the thing is, like, imagine going through an agency to book an actor, animal actor. So much money, right? It's like thousands. And it wouldn't have been. You know what? It wouldn't have been as good. But it wouldn't have been as good because just perfect. She was just perfect, and her horse was Bumble perfect. Best actor, yeah. And the thing is that it was all by, and the guy that did the drone as well. Like he didn't want to. He's just. Well, they'll go pay. But it's a friend of their landlord, and the landlord said, "Oh, I got a friend who's got a drone, and he's really nice, and he was so nice, and we're like, no, but give us an invoice, and you know, and it was marvelous. Everything went really good, and I got some footage from behind the scenes, and our friend Blake did, and it's just the three of us, you know, with a little with the tripod and the camera in the middle of nowhere, you know, and it looks so. That's gonna be shit, you know, like it looks. And it's pretty funny to see. It's like all those three little guys just it's just and that's the thing as well, is that when you work with very, you know, semi-professional, professional people, there's like rules, and that things, you know, how to handle the equipment, how to handle things. If you're on the equipment, you're like, oh yeah, do this, you know, like just get it, you know, go in the sand, fine, you know, like it's your equipment, so you can't kind of. I don't know, like get a bit more experimental with it, and it will take, and you can have more and keep shooting as well, like you even when you're not performing or anything, and that I feel would give a kind of a different result, and a result that we're happier with because we connect, so we know.
Yeah.
I got too excited.
No, I love the excitement. No. Actually, what we'll in the last few minutes here of the Jody and Perch Life and Josiah. If you've got any questions, throw it in the Discord chat, because we're approaching the end of the first. I think there'll be many more in the future. We'll check back in several months when there's more Calva Louise creations out there. But any questions you've got, I see Perch typing right now, so let me know if there's anything I can ask these three. But I mean, that actually reminds me of when Jess was talking about the initial creation of the graphic novel and the HP laptop. Is with the band that I used to be in, I was the person that did all the videos, and I mean, I GoPro'd we recorded every practice on our Zoom recorder. Nice. You never know what riff's going to appear. We recorded every show. I mean, I'm very particular. I think some might say anal, but I'm very particular about detail and looking at how to grow and improve. And I had such a shit old laptop, and we were making like just a basic like band performance video. Right. These days they're called lyric videos, right? They're like the video that we want to make a better one, but it's not got any lyrics in it. And so we're all in the jam room, you know, switching around roles and making a silly farty video. And then on my laptop, it took me 8 weeks to edit a 3-minute long song, because it was so slow that every time you drag a clip down, it would take 2 minutes to process, 5 seconds to then just watch it before you'd even like actually go, no, I need this bit of it. And then you cut it. It's like, wait. So I'd just be going for so many fucking smokes, just waiting for this thing to just do its bit. But
and that's great. That's dedication. Like,
Well, that's why we told the label, please help us, you know, with that we need. And then like, you know what, money to make Alizon build a computer.
When we started working on the 3D stuff, it was like on our laptops, and like they were just not handling it. Like one frame render was like 1 hour. Yeah, so it's one frame. It's like 24 hours, 1 second. So we're like, okay, we need to build a PC that's decent. So the label helped for that as well. So that's
So I feel your pain.
Now I have
But
this
it's more-
incredible computer that I spent way too much money on to invest in, where now it's like it's instant. The only issues I get is when I've got too many audio sources open and it's like get back. Figure that out. Well, I mean, I'm so thankful for your time. It's been such a thrill, and I love the energy. And I'm also cognizant of the fact that it's probably nearly bedtime. What is it, 10:15 over there right now?
It's 9. It's 9:50.
9:15.
Oh, the clocks went back, didn't they?
But
Yeah, clocks went back. Yeah.
It's only
yeah,
7
clocks are
hours.
back.
Right.
Yeah, so we got up like 2 hours ago.
No, that's what I said in email, right? You just got back from tour. Fucking rest.
What's
the last- Well, quite. I know. I'm talking to three that don't believe in such a word. But the last thing I'd like to throw your way, and just seeing what comes back off the top of your heads, maybe one situation each, is I just wanted to give 3 bands that I'd urge you to check out, and that I feel that you would be into from listening to your workings. And you might know them, you might not. The first is a duo of twin sisters called Soft Cult.
Soft Cult.
And I'll email you all this.
Oh, right.
Jess.
I'll write it down.
But
Nice.
I'll email you as well. But Soft Cult, I think a great starting point would be BWBB, Boys Will Be Boys. Very strong, pertinent message about abuse and how we need to be a bit more together in standing up and shutting down the assholes. It's a very powerful song. Another artist I think you three would be into is Art Deco.
Art Deco, yes.
I really like Art Deco.
Oh, Art Deco just lives round the corner from here. Wonderful soul.
Oh, wow,
cool.
nice.
And
Nice.
that's great that you already know. Head Rush is what I was going to suggest. And
Yes.
the third, because I hear that a lot. Like, I love the almost, I don't like, this is what's difficult about the world that we're in, is that a lot of people will say, oh, what does Calva Louise sound like? And you'll go, fucking Calva Louise, right? But a lot of people need that. And you read it in all the main blogs, right? From Friends, Enemy and Kerrang and Metal Sound, everything. They sound like Radiohead, Coldplay, right? There's always the buzz bands that people say. But for me, something that kept coming to mind was just as a lover of the specials, I heard so many little parts of your production that I was like, damn, like these guys, there's either going to be a Damon Albarn connection coming up one day, or you love the specials. But that's just a side point. We don't need to dive into it. But I really like that particularly, with So, and then the third band is the Velveteers, who are also
I do know. Yes, the Velveteers. Yes.
Charmer and the Snake is a great song. And what fascinates me as a drummer about that band is it's a 2-drummer band. Ben, you got to watch them live, Ben. And I mean, they're signed to Easy Eye Sound of Dan of Black Keys' label, who is just helping some incredible artists right now. But those are 3 bands that I thought you might be into. What are 3 bands that you think I might be into? I know, look, I play the shit out of Strange Bones and all your cohorts, right? I love Jack and Kikapichi. We're speaking to them next week. I know a lot of your circle over there, but please, throw me 3 quirky bands.
Okay, I think. Well, it's not. Okay, well, you go quirky.
Oh, rock and roll. You know.
I'll give you on first. Riding off the 2-drummer thing, King Gizzard.
Oh,
it's too mainstream.
No such thing as too mainstream. All right, you get
incredible.
Yeah, they're great. Talking about 2 drummers.
Firstly, Ben, there's no bad suggestions.
Sorry,
I'm aware of that. They're not.
I know that you sat there patiently and listened to these 2 go off and go off and go off. And I know as a drummer that even I've got verbal diarrhea, but when it came to band interviews, it really hurt me to sit there and have to say nothing. So I appreciate you being here. But no, that aside, Alizon and Jess, what do you think?
You know what? I don't even know. I've had this whole time to think, and I was like, it's coming, it's coming. Coldplay, yeah, exactly.
I have one, like Carpenter Brut.
Carpenter Brut.
Yeah, it's a French. Is one guy, and it's kind of what is this?
It's like dark synthwave.
Dark synthwave,
like heavy.
But heavy. Yeah, but heavy and a lot of. See, he does a lot of music for like for
soundtracks.
Yeah, soundtracks for films, like with like kind of horror, like space sci-fi films, and he does a lot of great things. So yeah, Carpenter Brut, and I got of course my which is I think one of the biggest bands in South America.
Yes, love
Josiah
Oh,
loves
nice. Nice. And now going into the other kind of, it's nothing to do with Captain Brute, but it's a band from Puerto Rico, and it's called Calle 13, and it's been one of my biggest influences since a long time.
You remember in Southampton? You remember that night in Southampton?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to need to email me that band's information because I don't know what to write.
No, but I can tell you, it's super easy. It's so CALLE.
Yeah.
13. That's it.
Oh, okay.
And that means like that means like road 13, not road, but like street 13. Yeah, it's street 13. That's
right.
the meaning. But it's a 2-piece. But so they're the biggest. I think that the biggest selling like Latin, band, because they're not a rock band. They mix genre. They started as a reggaeton band, if you won't believe.
Right.
And they started, and it was amazing. Like, it was really good. But I'm not particularly into that genre. But they did something completely new, and then they developed into. They had Tom Morello in one of their songs. They had Julian Assange do a little. And in one of the songs, they had guitarist from Mars Volta in one of the songs as well, and they just two step brothers, and it's actually the singer who's the rapper is the drummer, and I love them. Anyway, that was it.
No, sweet, awesome. Okay, I like it. Well, Perch, who's in the chat as well. I mean, Perch Life in the chat just said in Discord. This was a great conversation. He loves Taranito and the video for Camino. And, that's why I thought Perch might have some questions about the 3D stuff, because Perch real name is Justin. He's such a wonderful soul, and is someone that I've actually made in Discord. Oh, and by the way, Alizon, didn't you show up in the Discord this morning? You
I did, yeah.
That's you.
Actually, yeah, that's me. I just
awesome.
opened up the link.
We really love Discord. We started Discord like a month and a half ago.
I'm not in it yet. Sorry.
No.
Okay, well I got to join. If you've got your own like Calva Louise server, I've got to jump in.
We've got a Calva Louise server, and
It's on the social. I think if you go to the Instagram bio, you've got.
The Instagram bio, and I'll when you send me with the link for your Discord, because it's a new community for us completely, and it's actually. Is another complete world where everybody's in contact, and you can share way more.
Interesting space. Like we didn't know about it until a couple of months ago. Yeah, and like it's really great. Like really, yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
Because my passion's about to bubble over. So number one, Perch Life, I had to make his own channel because of all the memes and GIFs and everything that he makes. So he's got a lot of. Well, I was asking him about helping with a promotional campaign. I was like, I'm going to maybe do a billboard in town, on a digital billboard. And now I've got to the point of growth where I can start to put money into advertising, because I earn all my money through subscribers, right? I have 69 subscribers currently recurring a month. I know that sounds dodgy because it's 69, but that's just where we're at right now. In the first 13 months, in the first 13 months of what was that, I, through the subscribers, raised $13,000. And everything I split 50-50. So half of it goes towards me, my love of chocolate, my love of records, and Feed the Fish. And another half goes towards the foundation, which is where we then put as much money as we can into the pockets of artists like yourselves, right? That's why I started the conversation about, I want to buy everything from you directly to make sure you get the most money for it. Another part of the foundation is that for subscribers like Justin and Josiah, who are listening right now, let's use Miles as an example, who's not here, but he is a fella that loves shooting and loves camera work, and always wanted to have a black studio and a black room. And so we made a donation towards him to go and get gear to do that. Other members where we've helped them to get food if they were struggling through the pandemic. So I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm not changing anything, but it's just stepping away from a major corporation and going about pushing out positivity and community in my own way. It's not like it's the best way. It's just the way I want to do it. And I think as individuals, we're allowed to feel like we can do it our way and still do so and being classy and respectful to others. Now, that bodes into, Alizon, why I interrupted you about Discord. You can tell when I get very passionate, I don't breathe, and it's one long sentence. Which is, speaking of community, I think a lot of people are very overwhelmed by Discord because they see everything, the stream of consciousness all in one. They see all these channels and they're just popping off and they feel like, do I need to go through and read every single comment, or do I just drop in when I want to and then I'm here for 15 minutes and that's it? And I think the power in this is that while people initially jump in and they're like, oh, this is too much, well, you get just as much in Instagram, in Twitter, in Facebook. You just keep scrolling. The difference here is that you've got topics and conversations that are set and you can go in and dive into those. So you'll see Alizon, and if you know, Ben and Jess, feel free to join as well at some point, but you'll see that the server I've got is very clearly laid out to make sure that you know the energy you're going in to converse about. There's just a politics one, there's just a music one, there's obviously all the what was that stuff and the podcast and the radio station, etc. But it's very clearly laid out. Now, my point with why I think it's brilliant for you is that, especially the way you three go about your business as a band, is it's that connection. Those connections are so crucial. And so it's not about, I've not stepped out of commercial radio where I was very lucky to have an awful lot of listeners and a very successful show. I'm not worried about the millions and millions. I'm worried about the few and what we can do together. I think a lot of people that work in media and TV, and look, don't get me wrong, when I was 20 years old and I first got the chance, I was like, yeah, fuck, I'm awesome. I'm a big deal. I've got a radio, you know, I've got a midday show in a major city. That's great. But as I've grown into it, I've realized from lessons learned that that was all a distraction from the very art that I was fascinated with that led me to chase that career in the first place, right? That speaks to what Jess was saying earlier about all the things you want to do. Why are you doing them? Don't lose sight of it. And so that's why, for me, that's what's so special about Discord is we've got, 353 people in. What was that so far? There's only about 30 that consistently speak every day. There's a lot of lurkers. But the way I go about things is you do what you want as an individual on your own accord, at your own pace. You choose what you want to do. And so that's why I always say to bands, right, there might be 2 or 3 people watching right now. There might be no one. There might be whatever. But transparency and communication is key. And that's why, long story short, it's great that you're on Discord. I'm going to join it after we stop this chat in a few minutes. And I would urge anyone that stumbles across this podcast when it goes live, you got to consider it. You know, I'm in the Press to Mecco one. I'm in the Soft Cult one. I'm in Upsal. I'm in 2 or 3 different performers and just seeing how they're going about it. And that's also what's so key about it is every server is very unique and different because it's all an extension of the people behind it. Anyway. Yes, no, I really appreciate it. You've given me an hour and a half of your time, which is great. And we've got to go and get Harley from school in a second. Harley's 7 years old. Also a big fan of Calva Louise.
Oh, that's so amazing.
Shout that through to the kitchen as Jody came down the stairs. Isn't he? Loves them. Not sure if you can hear the laughing in the other room. But yeah, no, I'm so thankful for your time. And please know that even though, look, I'm not Radio 1, I'm not Kerrang, I'm not NME, but please know that anything you do, I'm here to help the best I can. What I'm building towards in 10, 15 years is being able to say to a band like yourselves that, okay, well, let me fund a record, you know, but that's what we're going to build to. And I hope that we can have that conversation in 10, 15 years where I'm like, guys, right, we've all built to where we want to go. And hopefully you're in a position where you go, don't need it. But we'll see, you know. That's what's so exciting about life. But I really appreciate it. I appreciate the galvanized energy that you've installed in me. The rest of my day is going to be fucking sweet. I love soaking up the passion from other people and learning from them the best I can. So is there anything that you'd like to say in closing that maybe I missed? Because I never plan anything. I just start speaking and go with it.
I think we said a lot.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything.
I mean, like, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Like, you ask really great questions. Like, the conversation is wicked. Like, it's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
Really cool.
Well, please let every fucker know that I'm coming for them. Strange
Okay.
I'm very fortunate to have lined up an awful lot of great guests in the next few weeks. Because I've been building what was that. I took 6 months where I wasn't on the air because I was part of a team of 50 and then it was 1. And so I spent between January and September this year just fleshing out like, okay, this shitty website and doing YouTube courses that you were saying earlier, Jess. Like I've done a lot of learning from YouTube pros. And I felt like, right, the website's redone, the app's redone. I know I've got my algorithm built for the station when I'm not on the air. I've got the gear I need now. I've tested it. And I started broadcasting again daily as of September the 1st. which is I think like 5 to 8 in the evening for you, or whatever it might be, or 4 to 7. And so now I can book. My point being, getting the conversations going again, and it's just what I love. It's what I love doing. And yeah, I think in the next week I've got, in case you know any of them, I've got the Howlers next week. I've got Sophisticated Dingo, Kikapichi. I've not got round to, yeah. I mean, I'll read a list that's 20 long. I'm really looking for, like, you're the first ever. How would I describe this without being disrespectful to other people? Like, when everything that I've been building to this point, this is now the start of where I'm going to start doing 3, 4, 5 interviews a week. And what a way to start it. Like, I'm galvanized for the chat tomorrow and the chat with Soft Cult on Friday. And yeah, so.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah,
it's awesome. We're honored.
Well, that's very kind.
Our first interview with, I don't know, like, with anything to do with Canada.
Yeah.
I love to see Canada. I've always wanted to go there. So
one day
we'll meet you at some point.
Yeah, because if ever you get to wherever I am, I know Perch Life, Justin. I don't want to speak for you, but you can back this up in the comment, mate. Unless you're walking around doing some cooking right now, because it's near dinner time over the other side of the country where Justin is. But I know that Justin's the kind of soul that would say, "Yo, you're in Ontario. If you're near me, you're good to crash." And the same goes for us in BC on the West Coast. You can crash. You say that, but fuck, it's a big country, and you might not be anywhere near us, but. If you are, then we'll help the best we can. That's what this is all about. Perch is typing right now. What are you saying? You're going to just say yes?
No. Don't invite them.
No way.
No. Justin said he's got hookups all over Ontario in all the major cities. So absolutely. So yeah.
Thank you so much.
One step at a time.
Okay. Thank you. So nice.
We got to go and get Harley. And you got to go and chill out and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. I think it's Tuesday. Fuck, I hope it's Tuesday.
Wednesday.
That's twice now.
I didn't know either.
Right, because now I was confused earlier with Jody that tomorrow is Thursday. Right, I'm with you now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, no, have just thank you so much, and I will email you once we get back from school. Bits and pieces, and it's also imperative that you all know that if you do think this isn't going to go live for at least a few weeks, just from the schedule. I always send bands everything. And if you feel like maybe I want that out, maybe the label won't appreciate that. That's very important that you realize that if there's something you don't want in it, it doesn't fucking get put out, right? I'm not worried about me getting an exclusive to upset someone else. I'm worried about me working with bands to help propel them in the right direction through respect and clear communication. So you'll get everything. And then you've got a few weeks to go over it and be like, yay or nay. You might not even need to watch it and be like, no, it's good. That was fine. But that's important that you know that you get to review.
Thank you. It's been amazing. And then wonderful conversation. And yeah, thank you so much for having us in internet wise.
All right. Well, to Josiah, to Justin, to Jody, and also to you three and Ben, Alizon, and Jess, thank you very much, and have a great rest of your day. This has been fucking sweet.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Take care.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
WhatWasThatRadio.com is a website of which you can find out more about WhatWasThatRadio.com, of which is a website where you can find out.